Well, back in 2014, then CIA Director John Brennan personally apologized to the Senate Intelligence Committee for spying on the committee's computers. Back then, the New York Times asked the Obama administration if that presented a credibility issue for Brennan. They were told by White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest, not at all. Now, even though that committee was run by Democrats, it rubbed Senator Rand Paul the wrong way, and he has not forgotten about it.
He eventually apologized, not before sort of lying at first and saying that they didn't do it. But John Brennan has a very, very sketchy history of doing things and abusing power. So he needs to not be getting any information, because I think he has a history of doing things for partisan reasons and also things that the CIA is not supposed to do, which is spy on senators and on their computers.
Well, Senator Paul then goes on to say pulling the clearance for Brennan isn't enough. He thinks there needs to be a restraining order against Brennan. Let's bring in former senior advisor to Hillary Clinton, Philippe Reines, who's already laughing, and Matt Schlapp, chairman of the American Conservative Union. Welcome, gentlemen. All right, Philippe, why are
I wasn't laughing at you.
No, but you were laughing at the suggestion of a restraining order, I'm guessing.
I tend to laugh at Rand Paul a lot. I think, if you look at the folks that have been highlighted and targeted, whether it's John Brennan, Jim Clapper, James Comey, obviously, for being fired, I understand the president has his problems with them, but you have to look at other people listed. Michael Hayden, who I believe you probably worked with in the Bush White House, who has nothing to do with Barack Obama. Well, why are you picking on him? It's transparent. It's because Michael Hayden goes on television and criticizes the president. Yeah, but there have been other CIA directors since, including Michael Morell, including Leon Panetta.
Right. And there was a specific list of names that we got from Sarah Sanders today at the briefing. This is something else that Senator Paul had tweeted out. This specific angle, he says public officials should not use their security clearances to leverage speaking fees or network talking head fees. A spokesman for Brennan has said, listen, he's not monetizing this. He's not making a penny off of it. He does, though, work as a contributor for NBC and MSNBC.
Yeah, and what's been really interesting about the cozy relationship with people in power who had their favorite reporters they used to leak information to, which is all part of this story. Look, I understand what you're saying about General Hayden. I did serve with General Hayden. I respect General Hayden. But what we have is some of the most serious wrongdoing we've ever seen when it comes to people who had access to classified information. The idea that they used that information to try to stop him, meaning Donald Trump, means there has to be, the American people, at least 50% of us, are crying out for some justice over what happened in the 2016 election. If you have people that misused the use of confidential information, they shouldn't have a security clearance. They shouldn't ever be able to serve in government. And there's a lot of us who think they need to be standing with their hand up in the air in a courtroom explaining exactly why they perpetrated this on the American people.
Could you guys agree on something like a blanket? Like, listen, if you're from the previous administration or you've been out 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, or if you're going to be a TV commentator, I mean, do you think that there's a better way to say, like, we're not going to name names, but if you fit any of these criteria, we're going to say no more briefings?
I think what we're forgetting is it's not that the people coming out of government demand to keep it. It's usually the successors that want them to keep it. I mean, Gina Haspel, the current CIA director, she might want to get on the phone with Michael Hayden and ask something about something that happened 10 years ago. It's not that Michael Hayden is banging down the door to keep his clearance. Rex Tillerson probably still has his clearance. Joe Hagan probably still has his clearance. There are legitimate continuity post 9/11.
Look, there used to be a bipartisan consensus on foreign policy. The abuse in 2016 has destroyed it. I think it's a very bad thing for this country. I think fighting radical Islamic terror, I think fighting Iran, I think standing up against our enemies overseas in North Korea and other places, I think there should be a bipartisan consensus. The fact that they politicized the intelligence process to try to stop Trump, it has destroyed it. And there needs to be some punishment for what they did.
I don't think that.
Listen, we have another hot topic for you, if you'll just hold right there. I want to talk about the FISA applications. We get a lot more information about that, although tons of it's redacted. Here's Rush Limbaugh weighing in and saying, if it was so bad with Carter Page, why didn't they go to Trump and tell him someone is trying to infiltrate your campaign from Russia?
They tell him. Why did they get a FISA warrant to spy so that they could find it happening? What was their point here? It doesn't seem to me that anybody involved on the Obama team wanted to stop it. They wanted an opportunity to find evidence that it was happening. And if they couldn't find any evidence, they wanted to plant some.
Quick response from both of you. I'll start with you, Philippe.
I think what's getting lost here is that the Mueller investigation isn't just about possible ties between the Trump campaign and the Russians. It was to look into Russian interference. And I'm not going to use any kind of judgment about who they helped, who they hurt. I think we all agree, although the president goes back and forth, that they did so. He is tasked with, among other things, finding out who did it and why. As part of that, Carter Page, who does not seem like the sharpest knife in the drawer, and I don't think the Republican Party should go too far on the limb for him, he, for years, has been just sort of canoodling with the wrong people. This FISA warrant that was just the application that we see totally refutes everything that someone like Devin Nunes has been saying.
Canoodling is not illegal. This is the problem with all this. And the fact is after all this time, he's not indicted. Why is that? Because they knew he was never a spy.
He could be
what
tomorrow.
They were trying to do with Carter Page, that was the soft underbelly to try to find anything they could against Trump. Why did Clapper go on national TV and deny there were any FISA warrants? Because after Trump won the election, they wanted to hide the fact that they were on a fishing expedition to find anything they could on Trump. Guess what? They never found anything. And that's why we don't have any information. Huh?
This is ongoing.
Okay, fine. We're giving out parking tickets and speeding tickets. Is no collusion.
191
There's
indictments.
no collusion, and that's what it's all about. And they can't find a scintilla of evidence.
Well, Carter Page is standing by, but yet,
I don't know why we don't let it run its course. It's strange to me that innocent people
10 years,
act
20
so
years,
guilty.
30 years. Hey, could go on our whole lifetime.
It's been a year shorter than Trey Gowdy spent on Benghazi, and he was the last person.
And it was the last committee that found Hillary's emails. Sometimes it takes a little time when somebody's lying.
We're going to leave it there because if we start on the Hillary email, we're going to be here for another hour. Gentlemen,
I got an hour.
I got an hour.
We're going to move it on. All right, Matt and Cleve, great to see you both.
Good to see you.